Good morning, Jay Leno and our wide world listening audience. This is Eddie Tunick, one of the stars of the much talked about T-Man movie, which is going to be world premiering shortly in Philadelphia and Hollywood. And I'm proud to say worldwide, because we found out over the last few weeks of doing these interviews that we have a vast listening audience worldwide, and it's very exciting. We're getting a lot of feedback from Facebook, venues like that, and the response is really exciting. And I'm excited today because we are with one of our official musical soundtrack providers. I'd like to introduce Mr. Micheal Beck. Michael?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. Thanks for allowing me into your home and studio today.
Oh, sure.
And Micheal is a phenomenal musician. I've heard his music. He's contributed some music to our soundtrack in the movie. And Mike, let me ask you a few questions. I got a lot of questions I got to ask you. I've been doing my homework.
All right.
You're a real talented guy. Let me tell you, we're talking about guitars, electrical, acoustical, keyboard, bongos, congos, drums.
Sure.
What else do you play?
Didgeridoo right behind you. We got some didgeridoos from Australia. So a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed Steely Dan's drums are over here,
Yeah, we got
which
Steely
we're going to show the audience. We're going to show the audience in a second, the drums and the congos. But right now, geez, I'm trying to think where I could start. Men of Leisure. Well, first of all, you do a lot of your work solo.
Right. Most of the work I do now is solo in clubs and restaurants and bars and corporate stuff and parks and parties.
Well, when you say corporate stuff, I noticed you've done work for organizations like the Philadelphia Phillies organization,
Sure.
the Philadelphia Phantoms,
Right.
Boeing,
Yep.
Remax, and the casino.
Showboat.
The Showboat Casino. You've been all around.
Yeah. I've been everywhere. Yep.
You've been everywhere. They keep you pretty busy. You got over 200 shows a year.
That's true.
Across the United States.
Yep.
And after this interview, let me ask you a question. Would you have a problem going to France, Australia, Europe, any places like that?
No, I mean, if the budget's there, and I'm open, I'll go anywhere.
All right, because this interview, it is going all over the world. You got millions of people that are going to be listening to this.
Nice.
And I want them to know a little bit about you. If we could take a panoramic view of the studio here that Micheal has in his home, I'd like to show the audience all the instruments and what goes into what he does here, because I'm going to wait till you come back to us, and then we're going to talk about how Micheal gets a great sound like he gets. Mike, in this studio, you actually prepare by doing your background music and putting everything together here.
Right.
And then when you go out to a live entertainment gig, you're playing to the crowd live with all the background stuff that you did here, and it kind of sounds like a 3-4 piece rocking band.
Exactly. The technology today is a lot of clubs don't have the budgets to have a full band in, and it's great to be able to record the drums, bass, keyboards at home, mix it down to an iPod or something like that, and then play along with it out. I can do the leads and sing live, and it gives it a good full. That gives you that beat, you can dance to it. And
yeah, you got a great sound. I love it. I love it. Now, besides the solo, and solo is your main gig,
right?
But you do other things. Can you tell us a little bit about, like, an old friend of yours, Clyde Crumb?
Clyde Crumb, sure.
Great guitarist.
He's a wonderful friend, a great lead guitarist, and a singer. I've known Clyde and the rest of the guys in my band for about 20 years. Clyde right now is lead vocalist for Hot Lana, which is an Allman Brothers tribute band. And we get together a lot and do a lot of duo shows.
Okay. Now, Men of Leisure is a four-piece band. Let me see if I got it right.
Okay.
Okay. We got Clyde Crumb, guitarist, vocalist.
Right.
We have Billy DeFrancisco on the bass.
Right.
How great of a bass player is he?
He's one of the best. I met him a long time ago, and he was playing a fretless bass. And since then, he's gotten some other basses, and he's just a wonderful, in the pocket, kind of a great bass player. One of those natural guys. You see a lot of guys, their lips are moving when they're playing and they're counting, and he's a natural flow player.
Okay, and Mike Boyle on the drums.
Mike Boyle is a big sound on that drums. He's a wonderful percussionist and drummer.
Okay, so if the audience wants to see Men of Leisure, when do you guys usually get together? Are there certain times during the year?
The best time to see us is probably in the summer. We play a lot of parks. And it's nice to bring a blanket out and you know, maybe a little picnic and come out to many of the Bucks County parks and Pennsylvania parks, New Jersey parks. And that's where we really have a good time playing in front of thousands of people.
Okay, great. You like the keyboard?
I love the keyboard, sure.
Yeah, that's a great instrument. My
Yeah.
friend lives in Vegas. He's a keyboard player. That's pretty wild.
Billy Joel says it sounds like a carnival.
Yeah, I noticed the guitars
Right.
on the wall here. We have like, God, 1, 2, 3, 5 guitars up here. We got 4 guitars down here. Is there differences in the way these guitars, besides the beautiful different colors?
Sure.
You got brown, red, green. I mean, they're nice looking guitars. Is there a difference in the way they play?
Everyone is like is a different sound. Some of them are bassy, some of them are trebly, some of them are very thin sounding. It depends on what you're going for in the song. Sometimes you play a couple different guitars and, oh, this one sounds perfect. So it's everyone's custom for the song.
Okay. Let's go over to the drums.
Okay.
I gotta play on Steely Dan's drums.
Go ahead.
Am I allowed to?
Sure.
Okay, let's.
They closed down their Hawaiian studio, and they have 3 studios around the world. They closed their Hawaiian studio down, shipped all their equipment to a friend of mine. He called me, and I bought some of their equipment.
Now, Steely Dan is a very famous group.
Sure.
How many people are in his group?
Well, there's 2 main guys, Becker and Fagan, and they have the most of the other guys are studio musicians.
Okay, and is it Asia that's a big song they sung?
They sang "Reelin' in the Years,"
In the Years.
"Black Cows." Yeah, so many hits. I mean,
All right,
hits
let's-
from 30 years.
Okay, let's hear Eddie Tunick on Steely Dan's drums.
Go for it.
I might get discovered today. I hate to say it, but I'm going to stick to acting and interviewing. I think I have a little lack of rhythm here. Take a shot at that. I love those congas and bongos.
Yeah, we got congas,
Tell us a little bit
bongos.
about them.
And this is also from Steely Dan. This is a djembe, and these have a nice sound to them.
Nice, nice. And these are bongos?
These are congas,
Congas.
bongos, and then more congas up there.
Okay, so bongos are smaller than congas.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah, this is from the hippies in the 60s.
I remember a show called I Love Lucy. Didn't
That's
Ricky
it.
Ricardo play the...
He played a lot of percussion. He was a good percussion player.
Yeah, he really was.
Oh.
Let's go back here. Very good. Mike, I appreciate you taking the time today. It was really a pleasure interviewing you. I got to tell my listening audience here, because we're talking to a lot of people, if you ever need somebody for a party, a corporate event, anything like that, nightclub work, this is the man to hire. And I want Michael to give his contact information, like your website.
Okay.
If you would do that, take your time.
Sure.
So the audience can write it down.
Okay.
How do they get in touch with Mike Beck?
My website is www.mikebeckmusic.com.
And spell Beck.
BECK. And on that website, mikebeckmusic.com, there's tons of pictures, there's a schedule, there's contact information, and everything that you need to know.
All right, great. And I'd like to end by saying, as we all know, the T-Man is coming out. Everybody's talking about it. It's going to be world premiering in Philadelphia and Hollywood shortly. And I always like to remind Jay that you are invited as our special guest to the Hollywood premiere, which should be probably in about 3 or 4 weeks from now. We'll get the exact date out to everybody. And again, Mike, thank you so much for having us today.
Thanks, Eddie.
And we'd like to sign off and say goodbye to everybody. And we're looking forward to seeing you on our next interview. Thanks for having us in your living room today.